Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome if you're new. How do you do? I'm Mama or Michelle, and it must just be allergy day here in the South. I'm like, blah, just like in a blah, mood. But I'm sorry I'm a day late and always $1 short. I'm getting our book for the month out, or a book that I promised I'd start reading yesterday, and that's the Lanie book. This book was requested, and as you see, I got it for 10 cents. If you have a McKay's around you or a used bookstore, they always have tons of American Girl doll books at our store. Now, from what I can see on the back, Lanie has 2 books. I don't have her second book. I thought I did, but I don't. So it says on the back here, meet Lanie Holland. Lanie was born with outside genes. That's in parentheses, outside genes. She dreams of being an explorer of the wide, wonderful world, tracking wildlife, trying new experiments, and recording factoids in her science journal. Trouble is, the rest of the family has inside genes. It wouldn't be so bad if Dakota, her best friend and fellow nature lover, were around. But she's on the other side of the world, having awesome adventures in a real rainforest. What Lanie needs are some real adventures of her own. Things start looking up with her outdoorsy Aunt Hannah comes to stay, and Lanie finds a few surprises in her own backyard. So let's get started. This book does have 10 chapters, and we will start with chapter 1. And I'm sorry, guys, my breathing, I can feel it getting a little labored, so we're going to get through it. Okay, so here's chapter 1, and it's called The Bunny Experiment. I kind of like the look of this book. There's something about yellow and blue that I just like, so I'm going to try to read slower because I talk fast. I find myself trying to read it really fast and I stumble over the words, so let's take our time. On Friday, I ran home from school so fast my little sister Emily could barely keep up with me. Our backpacks flapped behind us. This was the day I was going to test my best ever scientific experiment. As we burst through the door, Mom looked up from her desk. Before she could even say hello, Emily announced, Stripey was munching the milkweed leaves today. Stripey is a monarch butterfly. He lives in a big glass terrarium in Emily's first grade classroom. I'm the 4th grade helper in her class this month, so every morning I bring milkweed from the office refrigerator to Emily's classroom for the caterpillars to eat. Stripey is the biggest caterpillar in the cage, and he's our favorite. I always try to give him the juiciest looking leaves. Mom pulled us over for a hug. So you were brave enough to watch Stripey today? She asked Emily. Nope, but Lanie told me about it. She told me Stripey was munching something else too. Emily paused dramatically. What was it? Mom asked, looking intrigued. His skin, I said quickly. Emily couldn't get to tell her all the good news. You know what I like about this book? I'm going to show you. It's got like factoids up here, and it looks like Lanie would have written them in like a explorer's journal or a scientific journal. So here's the caterpillar, and it says the factoid. As the caterpillar gets bigger, it sheds its skin and eats it for extra protein. Dad stuck his head around the kitchen door. Speaking of munching, who's ready for this Friday's spectacular snack? Emily and I looked at each other. Sometimes Dad's spectacular Friday snacks were delicious. Sometimes, well, 3 words. Corn, ice, cream. What is it, Dad? Asked Emily. Hopefully not caterpillar skin, I added. Today's snack turned out to be homemade hummus on pita bread, arranged to look like slices of pizza, since pizza is the only thing that Emily will eat. besides dessert. My 7-year-old sister is very stubborn. Once she decides something, she sticks to it. There's no changing her mind. Fortunately, Dad loves cooking challenges. A few months ago, he and I ran a secret experiment to see how many foods we could get Emily to eat. Hopefully I say this correctly. The hypothesis, if it looks like pizza and we call it pizza, Emily will eat it. Usually. So Dad started serving every meal in pizza form. Something flat and round on the bottom, with some kind of sauce or cheese spread over it, and little bits of food in the topping. You'd be amazed how many different foods can be made to look like pizza. The result: Emily ate everything but the rice and teriyaki chicken pizza, which even she could tell wasn't really pizza. Pizza isn't the only thing Emily is stubborn about. Ever since she found a spider in the sink once when she was brushing her teeth, she has been afraid of all bugs, even cute caterpillars like Stripey. She says bugs are too crawly and give her the creeps. Even though spring's finally here and the weather is turning nice, she won't go out into the yard to play because she's afraid of seeing a bug. Normally I wouldn't care, but ever since my best friend Dakota left, Emily's the only person I have around here to play with after school. In fact, I've recently made a discovery about my family. Nobody likes being outdoors very much, except me. I think it's because Mom, Dad, and my 2 sisters were born with inside genes, and I was born with outside genes. The genetic mismatch must have happened before I was born, when I was still gestationing inside my mother. I did research on gestation periods when I was waiting for Dakota's lop-eared rabbit to have babies. 31 days may not seem like much, but since one of the baby bunnies was going to become my first pet, it didn't seem short to me at all. Almost every day I told Dakota, "This is taking forever." And we have another factoid, and you can see it's like she's drawing the bunny. I don't know if you can tell it looks like it's colored in. Factoid: the gestation period for a rabbit is about 31 days. For a human, it's 280 days. My rabbit, Lulu, has turned out to be the best pet ever, and definitely worth waiting for. She was also about to become the subject of my best ever scientific experiment. I finished my snack, climbed the 2 flights of stairs to my room, which is at the very tippy top of our house, and unhooked the door to Lulu's pen. I took her walking vest out from a hook as she hopped over to see me. Not all rabbits like to go for walks. When I emailed Dakota to tell her what I was planning, she had warned me it might not work. Luckily, I am a scientist, and scientists always learn from experiments, whether they succeed or fail. After 4 careful steps and a lot of work, this was the day when I'd known for sure. Would my experiment be a success? Step 1. I spent hours lying on the floor and letting Lulu sniff me, hop on me, and eat vegetables and alfalfa pellets out of my hand. Step 2. When Lulu completely trusted me, I put the walking vest on her for a few minutes. Every day she wore it a little longer. Step 3. I clipped a leash to the vest and let her lead me around my bedroom so we could both get the feel of the leash. Step 4. I took her out into our backyard. The very first time she was outside, she stood absolutely still for a minute, with only her nose twitching. Then she leaped high in the air and kicked her legs in a joyful rabbit dance. That's when I knew she must have outside genes too. Today, as I buckled Lulu into her vest, I felt a bit nervous. What if my experiment didn't work? For Lulu's sake, I tried to act calm as I picked her up and put her inside what I like to call the bunny elevator. Mom's an architect, and when I was little, she completely redesigned the inside of our house. It's on a narrow lot, but it's tall, 3 stories high, with lots of big windows and little decks so that it sort of feels like living in a treehouse. Because of the height, Mom added some special devices for convenience. We have an open metal staircase with a long open shaft down the middle, so she put in a dumbwaiter. It's like a miniature elevator with a platform and walls made of recycled plywood, slightly larger than a laundry basket. That's the main thing Mom uses it for, hauling dirty laundry downstairs to be washed to the washing machine and clean laundry back upstairs to the bedrooms. When I discovered it makes a perfect bunny elevator, you just press a button and the gears slightly turn a long chain. Mom said she used bicycle technology, and down goes the elevator with Lulu in it. I zipped downstairs to meet her. I lifted her out and carried her to the front porch and sat her down. Lulu's nose went wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Then she hopped right down our front walk to the sidewalk. Thrilled 'em. Walking a rabbit isn't like walking a dog. Rabbits won't follow you. You have to follow them. I strolled behind Lulu, holding the leash loosely, and we gradually made our way down the sidewalk. We were the biggest show on the block. Our neighbor in the gray house, Mr. Rowland, stopped clipping his hedges and stared when we went by his yard. The nanny of the twins in the next house pulled their double stroller to the edge of the sidewalk so we could go by, and the twins leaped over the trays to watch. Lulu nipped some clover as we passed Professor Cusco, who is retired and likes to read on his porch. She looked over the top of her glasses and called, "That little vest makes your friend look like Peter Rabbit." Sadly, Lulu can never have a Peter Rabbit adventure because our block doesn't have any vegetable gardens for her to sneak into. Just squares of green grass all down the block. But she does like vegetables, so I was using bits of carrot to coax her along. We went down to the end of the street and turned around and headed back. I was thrilled. My rabbit walking experiment was a big success. Now I could take Lulu out for walks every day after school. Who cared if Emily wouldn't come out with me? I had my faithful bunny for company. As we headed back up the street to our house, I started to dream about being a real animal scientist someday. I'll make sure I didn't skip a page. I feel like I skipped a page. Nope. Okay. It's dawn in the mountains of Mongolia, and I'm making my way carefully along a steep mountain trail, hoping to spot a snow leopard. They're super shy and super well camouflaged. Only the sharpest eyes can spot them. Suddenly, I see movement ahead. Can it be? Yes, a furry, twitching tail. Wait a minute. Since when did our new next-door neighbor get a cat? I stopped. A large orange cat sat hunched in the driveway of the house next door, staring at Lulu with big green eyes. The cat arched its back and hissed. Lulu froze. The cat hissed louder. Then suddenly Lulu did the exact opposite of what I would have predicted. She charged the cat. I was so surprised I dropped the leash. The cat howled and dashed away from Lulu. As I scrambled with the leash, a door slammed and our new neighbor came running down her front walk in high heels shouting, "Get control of that rabbit!" So here's Lanie and Lulu. And you can see the neighbors are checking them out. And so they're walking and having a good old time. And then here's the orange tabby cat that Lulu chased down the driveway. I grabbed Lulu's leash and picked her up. She was trembling. I stroked her and let her bury her head inside the curve of my arm. The lady cleared her throat and looked at me. "I'm Miss Marshall. I don't think we've met yet. I just moved in next door." "I'm Lanie," I mumbled. Do you walk your rabbit often?" Miss Marshall asked. Well, this is actually the first time I've ever tried it," I told her. "Perhaps it should be the last time, too," she said. "This is the first time I've let Caesar out of our new house, and now he's totally traumatized It's hard enough for a cat to adjust to a new home without being attacked by a vicious rodent. Lulu, a vicious rodent? Wrong on both counts. Rabbits aren't rodents, I said. She snorted and gave me a tiny little superior smile. Of course they are. It was obvious she thought I was just a dumb kid who didn't know anything about anything. She didn't realize she was dealing with a scientist. I drew myself up to my full height of 4 feet 9 inches. I'm not even that tall. Rabbits are logomorphs, not rodents, I informed her. You can go look it up if you don't believe me. The little factoid made her pause. Then she shrugged and said, whatever your rabbit is, do me a favor and please keep it away from my cat. She turned and marched back up her front walk, her high heels going click, click, click. I headed glumly across our front lawn and went inside. This is going to be a good story, I can tell already. So our next chapter is called Kentucky Cave Shrimp. And I promise, guys, I will get to these once a week. It said they'll be on Sundays. I will do my very best to get them out on Sundays. And also, I should have the winner of the Samantha book announced. It is now closed. No more entries. And so I will go ahead and announce that tomorrow. And last time I looked, we had 3 entries. So I'm not going to do the randomizer. I'm not even sure how you do the randomizer. Does anybody know? So anyways, guys, like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye, everybody.